Alright, this is a response to the comments that I read in my last video about Chef vs Vegan, where I was doing street activism and this woman came up to me and she watched the footage of animals getting slaughtered and she didn't care at all. She was just like, who cares, they're just pigs. And then I read a lot of comments about that, and a lot of people were saying things like, what a cold-hearted bitch, she deserves to die, and just like really negative things about her character, which I totally understand where you're coming from, because she looked very apathetic to the suffering and the killing of those animals. Guess what, man? I was exactly the same like 4 years ago. I didn't care at all when I saw animals getting slaughtered. You know, I felt nothing. I was like, who cares? They're just pigs. Did that make me a cold-hearted person? No, like I wasn't a bad person. I just didn't understand what animals are or who they are, you know? I didn't understand about animals. I've been brought up in a society just like this chef, just like most people. We've been brought up in a society that does tell us that pigs don't matter. So little that in fact we'll just kill and eat them because we like how they taste. Pigs, cows, chickens, fish. That's how we're taught to view those animals, in a way that is indifferent to their suffering. And we're taught to just love some animals like dogs and dolphins. You know what I'm saying? So she's not a bad person just because she feels like that. In fact, she's quite a good person. After that interaction, she walked away. She came back and she said, I'll try going vegan for a month if you go on a date with me. And I was like, sweet as. So we went on a date and actually spoke to her like for hours that night. And she is a very compassionate person. She's cared a lot for her family in a lot of ways, like very loving person. And we talked a lot about the animal stuff, and she was like really starting to understand it more. You know what I'm saying? So to write somebody off just because they seem apathetic at first, you got to understand, like, that is what society has done to us. Not society, like the conditioning, you know? And we're talking about like multi-billion-dollar industries who are selling us these products that are killing us, that are killing the animals, that are killing the planet. They got billions of dollars. They know how to market these lies and this brainwashing to us. They're experts at it. They're like the best in the world at it. That's what they've done. So I don't look at these people, and I don't think any of us, I don't think it's productive at all to look at people who don't care about animals or appear to care about animals, you know, like this woman, and to wish bad on her or to think she's just a cold-hearted bitch. That's not the case, man. I look at them and I'm like, man, I feel so bad for you. I remember what it was like not to care about animals either, you know? How sad that living in this world has robbed you of your natural compassion, and I hope, just like I did, that you can get that back, and I hope I can spark that compassion in you. That's how I think we should be approaching non-vegans, you know, with hope and with optimism that they can change, not just write them off and think that they're a cold-hearted person, they're never going to change. That's the easy way out, isn't it? Shouldn't we look at those people as the people that need the love and compassion the most, because they're the ones who seem to have it the least? And I know that those people can change because I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. So don't write anyone off thinking they'll never change. What a bitch. She's a cold heart. She doesn't care about animals at all. Of course not. That's how she's been brought up, not to care. And it's up to us to ignite that flame of compassion by planting seeds and explaining who animals are and why they matter and why we should care about them, and that veganism is already in the heart of anyone who sees animal cruelty and feels that that is wrong. And even though this person was watching slaughterhouse footage and seemed not to care, you know, there's a lot of beliefs that are the reason for her apathy in that moment. She thinks we need to eat animals to survive and be healthy. She thinks that these pigs are just bred for that, so it's okay. She thinks that it's done humanely. You know, like, there's lots of reasons for that person to appear apathetic, and it's not their fault. And I think if we're just blaming them and writing them off and calling them bad people, firstly, that's not true. And, you know, like, if someone had done that to me and just ripped me off and not given me this opportunity to learn and to grow and to become better, where would I be right now? You know, I might still just be exactly the same, just munching on animals, dead animals every day, not thinking about what I was doing. So I don't think that helps for that reason, because it will kill our hope in people. And number two, if we are this group of people who are hating on others just because they don't instantly feel the same as us about a topic, then that is just another reason for people not to go vegan, because they just see vegans as these angry, aggressive people who hate anyone who's not vegan. That's just giving them another reason. I don't want anyone to have any reasons not to go vegan. There shouldn't be any reasons for someone not to go vegan. And I know that's not a very good reason, but it's still one that people will latch onto. It's looking for any excuse not to change. People think that change is hard. So I really think that we can just avoid that by having compassion and empathy for these people. You know, I really feel for people who can't feel for animals. I remember what that was like. I feel so amazing that I've extended my circle of compassion to embrace all living beings. And I really, because I feel so good, I want other people to feel that good too. So that's how I look at them. I see someone apathetic, I think, man, you can feel so much better. Like, and I want to try to help get you there. And I'll plant a few seeds and, you know, do what I can do. But what I'm saying is, I think it's like really negative and not helpful to label these people as bad people or cold-hearted people or whatever, because I don't think it's true, and I don't think it helps the animals. I think it's a disservice to animals to write them off like that. So let's spread this message, man, even to those people. Let's give these people the most love and compassion, because that's the best chance we've got at sparking those emotions in these types of people. And it's those type of emotions that will lead to them making better choices. So that's my thoughts on that topic. Thanks everybody for your comments. So I do appreciate reading them. And I'm not trying to like tell anyone who was commenting, you know, what were you thinking, you bad person. I'm just sharing my thoughts, you know. You're all welcome to feel differently or whatever. But I just think that, you know, that helps me spread this message in a way that is positive and that is effective too. People going vegan a lot through conversations that I have in a compassionate, loving way. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for checking this out.